arriving in this giant city of Toronto. It's a big, big city, and we're going to show you the highlights in the rest of our program with World Traveler. We're going to take you downtown, we'll take you down to the docks, the waterfront, we'll show you a big Greek festival, we'll bring you inside the museums and just show you around in grand style. And now here's a quick visual preview of some of the sights that you'll be enjoying in the next 20 minutes in the program. The CN Tower, we're going to take you up top. It's the world's tallest building. And we're going to show you how to navigate around in the CN Tower. We'll bring you out to Yorkville, the posh shopping district. We'll go on a walking tour up Yonge Street, and we'll show you some of these crazy moose that are all over town. Into the Royal Ontario Museum. It's quite a sight. And there's also Chinatown, Greek Town, Italian Town. We'll show you as much as we can, including the new City Hall towers, the old City Hall right across the street from it. There was a parade downtown. And we ran into some Hawaiian hula kids in this parade. Yes, we're in Toronto in Canada, but there's Hawaii. Niagara Falls is just about an hour and a half's drive away, so it makes an easy side trip. The downtown is full of gigantic skyscrapers. Now we're going to show you a lot of this coming up in the remainder of the program, but we have even more to share with you about Toronto, so it will spill over into yet another program. There's so much to see in this city. Out to the Danforth Avenue Street Festival in Greek Town. It was quite a night that we enjoyed. Outdoor barbecue and festivities and frolicking around here. Downtown has a lot of these trolley cars. It's a good way to get around the city. And this city is big. Yes, it's the biggest city in Canada. And it's also the economic center of the country. Look at these skyscrapers downtown. A lot of the banks and the money has moved into Toronto away from Montreal because of the concerns about French separatism and a little bit of political instability over in Quebec. So Toronto has greatly benefited from that, and the downtown reflects that spirit of lots of money and economic prosperity. Eaton Centre is the main shopping mall in the heart of town. It's plugged into an underground city as well, similar to what we saw in Montreal. Eaton Centre is a lot of fun. There's a lot of fast food down in the basement. And there's this flock of geese, a beautiful sculpture that hangs over the main atrium of Eaton's. On the other hand, if you'd rather get out of a shopping mall and have more of an outdoor urban shopping experience, well, step right outside the door and you'll find yourself on Yonge Street, the main shopping street of town.
We're walking along Yonge Street in the heart of Toronto. It's the world's longest street. Pretty hard to believe, but that's what they claim. If you turned it around, it would reach all the way to Florida. Of course, we're just in the busy commercial center of Yonge Street in the heart of downtown Toronto, and it makes a great walk, passing by the old-fashioned neighborhoods, and it leads right into the heart of downtown and the modern financial center as well, right past Eaton Centre. Yonge Street has got something for everybody. All sorts of neighborhoods along it. It's an interesting urban walk because you don't run into that many chain stores. You run into individual shops instead of the big ones like the big McDonald's and the Taco Bells. Now these are eclectic and individual with a lot of personality, real gritty urban scene to enjoy here on Yonge Street.
Toronto really does offer one of the most interesting urban atmospheres in North America. So many of our American cities have become suburbanized and turned into shopping malls, and that's about it. But here there's a real population living downtown, shopping downtown, out for strolls, and so it makes for a real authentic pedestrian experience. Really, this collection of shops is so charming and so eclectic. You can find all sorts of items. It even gets a little bit seedy as you head further north on Yonge Street. We're going away from the center of town, heading up towards Yorkville. It's about 10 blocks, so it makes a nice walk. Now, on the other hand, you could just take a taxi or take a bus if you wanted to, but then you'd miss out on some of these sights, like the doggy cam, bringing us past one shop after another. And then after enjoying our 10-block stroll along Yonge Street, we hang a left on Bloor Street and enter the very posh Fifth Avenue side of town. Here's my favorite moose couple, the Wedding Moose. These moose were all over town. It was a part of a big fundraising promo. At the end of the season, they're going to auction them off, but it was really fun to see them while we could. Green for money. Along Bloor Street, yes, this is the posh shopping part of town. We're just parallel to Yorkville Avenue, so it's a neat neighborhood. It's yet another reason why you'd like to put Toronto on your list of cities to see. Toronto offers something for everybody. Movie producers have discovered this city, and they can film here and make it look like New York or Chicago or any kind of big urban city, any place in North America. Toronto has neighborhoods that fits all needs, and one of the more charming neighborhoods is Yorkville. This was a big place for the hippies back in the 60s, real artsy, craftsy kind of spot. And way before that, it was considered to be a village outside of Toronto, but the city has grown up and included Yorkville among its many eclectic neighborhoods. There's lots of outdoor sidewalk restaurants and cafes here, and you can even find food from Tibet.
This is a potato with the spinach. This is stir fry vegetarian. These both are vegetarian. This is a temomo takpa.
And that's vegetarian too?
Yeah, all are vegetarian. You ordered everything.
Yeah.
Well, that was an unusual meal and very tasty and healthy. You have a lot of choices here in Yorkville. Traditional steakhouses, of course Italian food, well, sandwiches, fast food, takeouts, anything you like. It's a great neighborhood for people watching as well. And there's more of those moose. There's a Swiss cow. This is the spot called The Rock. It's a famous meeting place on Bloor Street. If you ever want to pick a spot to meet somebody in Toronto, you can just say, I'll meet you at The Rock, and they'll know what you mean. There's this outdoor fountain next to The Rock and more moose all around it. And so for the shoppers or the people watchers, Yorkville and Bloor are places to be. You'll have fun in this little neighborhood. Just around the corner is the fabulous Royal Ontario Museum, and we're going to give you a little sneak preview right now. This is the Royal Ontario Museum. They call it the ROM. And this is actually the third biggest museum in North America. So it's huge. It's on a scale with the Smithsonian, with the single building, let's say, of the Smithsonian. Maybe it's about half the size of the Metropolitan Museum in New York, which is our biggest single building. It's really huge. For now, I'm just going to give you a 1-minute summary of the museum, but stay tuned. In a future program, we'll have a lengthy tour inside the ROM. You'll see a little model of the Parthenon from ancient Greece, including a statue of the goddess Athena from inside the temple itself. Bronze Age pots, archaeological displays from Egypt. There's little god figures that were found in ancient Egyptian burials. They really have an outstanding Egyptian collection with a lot of mummies. Here's some alabaster pots from the Old Kingdom, the Middle Kingdom, and the New Kingdom. And an entire floor of the museum that's about 1/3 of the area is devoted to natural history. Here you'll find dioramas, stuffed mammals, there's birds, there's fish, invertebrates. And they also have the largest collection of Chinese art in North America. The museum is open every day of the week till 6 p.m. and on Friday nights it stays open till 9:30. Here's a comparison of the skeleton of a human and a bear. There's lots more to see inside the Royal Ontario Museum, and we will show you more in a future episode of World Traveler, but for now we're back out on the streets taking a walk downtown, the fabulous twin towers of the City Hall. Out front we have more moose. This one's up on a diving board at the City Hall fountains with the old City Hall behind. It was a summer festival filled with moose, especially out in front of City Hall. The lawn had a whole row of these moose characters, really quite odd, and more of them scattered all throughout the downtown financial area. Well, they'll probably be gone by the time you get to Toronto, but at least for now you can take a look at what they look like. Downtown is a thriving, bustling place. It's clean, it's modern, and it's very safe. And you definitely do not need a car to get around when you're downtown Toronto. A car would be more of a hindrance because parking's a problem. You can just walk and take the public transit. Here's some cows on permanent display. They live on this lawn in the heart of the financial center of downtown. The financial district is about 4 blocks south of Eaton Center, and it's worth coming down here just to look up at the tall buildings. Many, many tall buildings, but none taller than the CN Tower. Oh, it's spectacular. It's the #1 attraction for the visitor in Toronto. Here we are, ready to make our climb up the tower. Well, fortunately, you don't have to climb. You take the elevator, and it just shoots you right up to the top. It's like a rocket. It's the tallest building in the world, tallest freestanding structure in the world, and highest observation platform in the world. All in one. Elevator only takes about 1 minute to get to the top.
Welcome to the CN Tower. The CN Tower is the world's tallest building and freestanding structure. A total height of 1,815 feet or 552 meters. And right now we're going up at 22 kilometers an hour or 15 miles an hour. So it'll take about 58 seconds to get to the top. And I'm taking you to the lookout level, and that's on the 114th floor. And one level below is the glass floor. Just take any flight of stairs down.
We're standing on top of the world here. This is the Sky Pod on top of the CN Tower. It's the world's highest observation post. We are up 1,465 feet, and it's phenomenal. The tower goes up for another 400 feet. It's 1,800 feet high to the antenna at the top of the CN Tower. It's the world's tallest building, the world's tallest freestanding tower. And it's fabulous to come up here and you get a view all around 360 degrees. There's 3 levels. We're at the SkyPod level now, and down below us there's the glass floor waiting for us to walk across if we dare, where it's almost like you're floating. Even here, looking straight down over the glass. It's phenomenal. These giant high-rises in downtown Toronto look like little buildings from here. And these are big skyscrapers too. They're like 80 stories high, but we're way above it, way above it. And if you come in the morning, it's not crowded at all. Just be sure to get here about, say, 9 o'clock in the morning, any day, no problem. They open at 8 o'clock in the morning or later in the afternoon. Just avoid the midday. Say from 10 o'clock in the morning, it gets crowded. What an experience. We're right on the edge of downtown Toronto. And we are seeing the city at its best. It's a beautiful, clear day today. Oh, you can see why it's such a thrill to be up here. And imagine being there in person instead of just looking on the video. We can also see our hotel from here. We're staying in the Metropolitan. It's the brown structure with the greenish roof. In the middle of the picture as we zoom out and show you how close the hotel is to City Hall and to the rest of downtown. Zooming in for a look at Ontario Place. It's an intellectual theme park for adults. There's some scientific displays and technology and fun things to look at there. We also have a great view looking straight down at the Sky Dome. It was the world's first stadium with a retractable roof.
It's clear as far as I can see. And look how large Ontario is.
There's a view of Eaton Center, the shopping mall in the heart of town, panning across the City Hall towers, and again over left to our hotel, the Metropolitan.
Oh, it's a dizzying height, really, but beautiful.
This is really a fun place to be up on the tower. You walk over a glass floor, and it's like you're floating through the air. Almost as if you're going to go falling down 2,000 feet through the air. You walk out over midair, it seems like, as if you're suspended in space. We're up about 1,400 feet high. It's really a kick to walk out of that glass floor, or it's like it's going to break. But this glass is strong enough to hold a herd of hippos, so there's no problem. It's never broken yet. Even if you jump on it, you can jump up and down on it, and it's okay. It's not going to break. So come on, Grace. Let's see your premiere on the floor.
Yeah, hold my hand.
Oh, wait. I wouldn't do it by myself, thank you.
It really does take some nerve to walk out over that glass floor, but once you've conquered it, then you can go back out and enjoy the view. It's not for everybody. If you're afraid of heights, you might want to just stick to the gift shop and just simply look out the side windows. But this glass floor is something special.
I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to walk on glass or not.
You can see why the CN Tower is the most popular visitor attraction in the city. You don't want to miss it, especially if the weather's clear like it was for us today. These guys are just lying down on the glass floor for about 15 minutes, just staring down. It's mesmerizing, all right. Well, it's hard to top this prime highlight of the city, but we have more of Toronto to show you. We're going to bring you down to this waterfront area next. An exciting elevator drop brings us back down at 15 miles an hour to ground level. The CN Tower doesn't have any floors in between the ground floor and the top floor, so that makes it easier on the elevators. They only have to stop in a few places. And it makes a quick elevator ride, and it makes for a very slender tower. What a structure. The harbor front is one of the most fun parts of Toronto, and it's about a mile from the center of town, so you might easily miss it, but don't. Be sure to get down to the waterfront because some of the most fun things to do are right here. There's a big shopping mall in the quay, and there's some nice restaurants along the water. You can take boat rides out to the nearby islands and visit some parks out there. Here's our Hawaii group gathering for a little group picture, approaching the end of our 2-week tour of Canada. If you're in the center of town, you can take a taxi to get down here, or you can take the public transit. But whatever you do, don't miss it because it's worthwhile. This was a particularly busy day. It was a holiday weekend, and so there was lots of people at the Queens Quay Terminal. Here's a little diagram to show you the layout of buildings. There's a number of wharfs and restaurants, and there's boat docks, and there's the hotels down here, boat rides, a lot of different activities, kind of like Fisherman's Wharf area in San Francisco on a smaller scale, or like the Aloha Tower part of Honolulu. And there's always street performers. There's buskers, jugglers, musicians, different kinds of people waiting to entertain you, and a big shopping mall. This is fun. Escalators, mirrored ceilings, a lot of different shops gathered all around the mall area. So there's something for everybody. You could take the family and say, okay, let's split up for an hour. You go do your thing and meet back and go have some fun. There are 100 upscale shops here at the Queens Quay Terminal, and always the free entertainment out on the piers that surround the terminal. Now you're going to work up an appetite, so there's any number of places to eat, of course. You can grab a hot dog bun on the run, hamburgers, french fries, milkshakes, or you can get yourself into an atmospheric restaurant here at Pier 4. This is a delightful spot. Stop in, even if you're not eating, just stop in and have a look at the collection, the claptrap of stuff they've got here with this nautical theme at Pier 4 restaurant. And the food was very good too. Fresh fish, of course, nice salads, mussels, steaks, chicken, the usual restaurant fare at Pier 4. But especially noteworthy for the authentic marine memorabilia. You notice the restaurant is not too crowded because we're eating at an off hour rather than going in at 12 noon at a peak meal hour or 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. I find when traveling it's better if you can to have a meal at maybe 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. Beat the crowds that way. And we're off on another adventure. To complete the program, we're taking advantage of the fine subway system in Toronto to go out to a big street festival in the Greek part of town, Greek Town on Danforth Avenue. It's easy to get there by subway, and while you're traveling, you'll run into some locals and have a little fun chat. They have a terrific public transit system here in town. Chester Avenue exit leads us right into Danforth Avenue, and this is where this major street festival is taking place. They expect about 300,000 people over the weekend at the Taste of Danforth. They claim it's the largest outdoor festival in the country, and we just happened to hit it there this weekend, so we had some fun. You can eat in the restaurants, watch the dance performers, watch the street musicians. People are really carrying on here at the Danforth Street Festival. Most people go and grab the food at the sidewalk stands. That's the whole point, really, is to go nosh around, have a little bit here, try a little bit there. Kind of like our Taste of Honolulu. It's the Taste of Danforth. They've got outdoor barbecues and lots of different entertainment stages all set up.